The barn was already gone by the time he stepped outside. Orange flames clawed at the night sky. The heat hit him like a freight train. The roar of fire swallowed the silence of the fields. Silhouetted against the inferno, he didn't run, didn't scream, just stared. Ash drifted like snow. The charred remains of his memories crumbled with every gust. And then he started walking, 12 hours earlier. In a bar called The Pit, where the neon flickered like a dying heartbeat and the walls reeked of sweat, fuel, and beer, the biker gang known as the Black Vultures roared in laughter. Their leader, Tank, slammed a beer bottle on the counter. "That'll teach the old bastard," Tank barked, tossing a charred matchstick onto the bar. "You mess with our root, we burn your past." "Wasn't he just a farmer?" Someone laughed. Tank's grin was all teeth. "Not always." Back on the hill, embers rained down as the old man reached the scorched earth. His name was Gideon Burke, but most folks just called him Gramps. At 67, with a weathered face, a gray beard, and a limp in his left leg, he looked like someone who'd lost everything. But the way he knelt beside the blackened soil, touching it with his calloused fingers like he was feeling for a heartbeat, there was something dangerous in that stillness. He stood, walked to a shed untouched by the fire. Inside, dust-covered tarps, rusted tools, and a steel locker that hadn't been opened in 2 decades. Clunk! The locker creaked open. Inside lay a black vest, faded but intact. On the back, Hell's Hollow Reapers, a patch he'd burned off long ago. But tonight, he reached for it. Gideon strapped on his gloves, picked up the crowbar, and behind it, something heavier, something that purred with power when he racked it back. Night. The pit was alive with rock music and engine growls. Outside, bikes lined up like wolves. Inside, the vultures drank like kings. Then headlights, blinding, approaching fast, too fast. Crash! A rusted pickup truck exploded through the front of the bar, sending wood, glass, and bikers flying. Screams, smoke. Out stepped Gideon, not fast, not dramatic, just a slow, one-legged limp over debris as bodies scrambled. "Who the hell?" Tank roared, pulling a pistol. Before he could aim, crack! Gideon's crowbar smashed his wrist. The gun clattered away. The music had stopped. All you could hear was heavy breathing. And then Gideon spoke. "You lit the wrong fire." Flashback, 1983. Gideon, young and wild, rode with the Hell's Hollow Reapers, a brutal outlaw MC that once ruled the Southwest. Blood, guns, vengeance. He was the enforcer, the guy who didn't flinch when it got ugly. But one night, a little girl caught in a crossfire. A scream. A silence. Gideon walked away, burned his patch, settled in the hills, planted roots. Until tonight. Back at the bar, chaos. Bikers lunged at him. The first caught a wrench to the jaw. Teeth flew. The second tried a chain. Gideon ducked, yanked it, and crack, dislocated shoulder. But there were too many. A bottle smashed on his back. Blood dripped from his forehead. They beat him to the floor. Tank loomed, panting. "Should have stayed dead, old man." Gideon, coughing, smiled through red teeth. "I did once. Didn't take." His hand reached for a lighter from his pocket. Flick. The flame glowed. And behind the bar, gasoline, a trail, a plan. "You think I came alone?" Suddenly, headlights. Again. But not his truck. From the shadows outside, Harleys. Dozens. Loud, angry. Dust clouds rose. A new gang rolled in. But not new. Familiar. Weathered faces. Patches that hadn't been seen in years. The Hell's Hollow Reapers. "Reckon you stirred the wrong ghosts," Gideon whispered. The door burst open. An older woman with a shotgun. A man with a missing eye. A giant dragging a chain. They moved like a storm. The vultures panicked. What followed wasn't a fight. It was retribution. Precise. Unrelenting. Tank tried to run. Gideon caught him outside, tackled him onto the gravel. "You burned my home," he growled. "But you forgot what fire made me." He raised his crowbar. Tank begged. I didn't know who you were." Wham! Darkness. Dawn. The pit still smoldered. Bikers lay groaning or unconscious. The reapers stood around Gideon like shadows of the past. One approached. "You comin' back, Gideon?" He looked down the road, past the wreckage, toward the horizon. "No," he said, pulling off the patch once more. "Just needed one last ride." Gideon walked back toward his scorched barn. The fire had died, but something new had started. And sometimes, when the wind blows through those hills, they say you can still hear the rumble of engines and a slow, heavy voice whispering, "You lit the wrong fire."